a very warm welcome to your English news package with radio and television for the hour. Making headlines, less rainfall for Tonga during the cool dry season. Tonga held the National Float Parade runner today around Nuku'alofa. And the Tongan contingent to join the US-led RIMPAC 2022 has already in Hawaii. We'll have these and more stories later on in the bulletin, together with sports to wrap up with the latest weather update. Now for the news in details. The Tonga Meteorological Office has confirmed that there will be less rainfall for Tongatapu and the outer islands during the cool dry season. Tonga's cool season started on May the 1st and will end on the last day of October before the cyclone season starts. It is understood that the nation faced the La Nina season in the past months before the cool dry season started. Some of the areas experienced heavy rainfall in the past. Speaking to radio and television Tonga News, from Tonga Meteorological Services Chief Climatologist Selvaya Vea says, as less rainfall is predicted for Tonga in the coming days, it is therefore vital for the people to use water wisely. Some La Nina indicators have indicated La Nina has regained strength in the past fortnight. Most models show a return to neutral conditions in the last quarter of the year, due to La Nina being slow to weaken. More or above rainfall is expected in the next 3 months. As we look at the rainfall outlook in May, the average of the amount of rainfall recorded is less than average during the wet season. In Tongatapu, the lowest average rainfall in May was up to more than 20 millimeters, and the same amount was recorded on the outer islands. As we look at the average rainfall to the month of July to September, it will be at the normal average and will be like that to the month of October until December. I also wanted to give a few notices to the tourneurs so they can be aware that according to the data collected, the prediction for the next 3 months, the average of rainfall will be lower than usual, although we haven't received any complaints of impacts recorded yet. The Tonga Meteorological Office is advising the public, especially the tourneurs, to use a water supply for drinking because it appears that there will be less rainfall during the cool dry season. One of the main functions of Tonga's Met Office is inspecting and analysing information or data they collected about the climate to form a weather forecast, as they must ensure that information is short and more understandable, and also it is safe and secure for the future. There's no turning back now as Tongans are preparing for tomorrow's test match against the Kiwis. The Red Sea is back with Tongan supporters wearing red and proudly holding the Tongan flag. Paula with more on that story.
The stunning show of red and white colors in today's float parade was more unique than the floats done in previous years. Speaking to some of the families and relatives of the players, Radio Tonga News met with the family of Moses Sesuli, who hails from Waini in Kolovai. Maika Mafleo and Ilaisane Epenisa says they are happy and looking forward to watching Moses Sesuli play tomorrow, as this is the first time for him to be playing for the Matema Tonga team. A supporter of Siliva Havili, Loveve Tuyone, says they are proud of their own relative for the God-given talent that he has, which makes his family from Fatai and Ha'ateiho proud to support him and wishes him all the best in tomorrow's game. Hundreds of people were at Nuku'alofa today to take part in the float parade. Meanwhile, students from the Maria Tupu Immaculata Primary School at Maufanga conveyed their best wishes for their team. Radio Tonga was at the Maufanga Catholic School, where they made a special dedication for the team. Students and teachers with parents were all in red and shouted cheerfully, "Try, try, try for Tonga." The program started with raising the Tongan flag, and students performed the war dance known as Sipitau, and ended with the Tongan hymn Eikikoe Ofa A'au, a dedication for the team for tomorrow's match. Meanwhile, the people were excitedly on their way to Nuku'alofa today for the National Float Parade, supporting the Matema Tonga, which started at 12 p.m. today's afternoon. The relatives of the players from the west and the east were already in Nuku'alofa today to show their support by wearing red and participating in the float parade. However, Radio Tonga News hopes the same spirit shown in the float parade will continue to support not only the players tomorrow, but also the Ikaletahi team and the Tala netball team next month. Vaifonoto Paula for Radio and Television Tonga News.
Crimes such as burglary and theft continue to rise in Tonga. Vaifonoto Paula again with more.
The Chief Superintendent of the Central Police Station, Inspector Felipe Fifita, clarified most of these crimes are committed during the afternoon hours. He adds most people leaving their homes in the morning and no one to look after their properties in the afternoon, as many are either at work or at the plantation. Today, most of the people were in town for the Matema Tonga Float Parade, and people were reminded to be cautious and to ensure someone is at home, as thieves are skillful and are aware of national events taking place, especially in the Nuku'alofa area. To elaborate more on the issue, the Ministry of Police finds the crimes very strange, as it often happens during midday, where everyone is busy at work or at town. We also noticed that tabacloths and handicrafts are amongst the most items that are stolen in these crimes. These crimes often happened in the Nuku'alofa area. Meanwhile, on other developments, police have charged more than 2,000 people for breaching the Traffic Act alone. Vaifonoto Paula for Radio and Television Tonga News.
Although the world's largest international maritime exercise, the Rim of the Pacific or RIMPAC 2022 will begin on the 29th of this month, but 45 soldiers of His Majesty's Armed Forces are already in Hawaii. Tongan contingent departed for Townsville on the 23rd of May and was led by Commander Lieutenant Colonel Takao. The contingent spent a few weeks training in Australia before they departed by vessel for around 3 weeks in Hawaii during the exercise. RIMPAC exercise was first conducted in 1971, and this year's event will be the 28th iteration of the multinational maritime exercise. His Majesty's Armed Forces has been a regular participant in the past 20 years, but missed out on the RIMPAC 2020 due to COVID-19 restrictions. The iteration will see participation of forces from 26 nations, including the United States, Australia, the United Kingdom, Germany, the Netherlands, Canada, France, India, Chile, Ecuador, Indonesia, Denmark, Tonga, Israel, Colombia, Japan, Brunei, Malaysia, Mexico, the Republic of Korea, Singapore, New Zealand, Peru, the Republic of the Philippines, Sri Lanka, and Thailand. The theme of RIMPAC 2022 is Capable, Adaptive Partners. Participating nations and forces will exercise a wide range of capabilities and demonstrate the inherent flexibility of maritime forces. These capabilities range from disaster relief and maritime security operations to sea control and complex war fighting. The relevant realistic training program includes amphibious operations, gunnery, missile, anti-submarine and air defense exercises, as well as counter-piracy operations, mine clearance operations, explosive ordnance disposal, and diving and salvage operations. As the world's largest international maritime exercise, RIMPAC provides a unique training opportunity designed to foster and sustain cooperative relationships that are critical to ensuring the safety of sea lanes and security on the world's interconnected oceans. This year, the multinational maritime exercise will involve participation of nearly 38 surface ships, 4 submarines, over 170 aircraft, and 9 national land forces. The exercise will be conducted in and around the Hawaiian Islands and Southern California and will complete on the 4th of August. And the Tonga police officers participated in a 3-day training last week, hosted by the Crown Prosecutors of the Attorney General's Office, or AGO, at Longolongo. This is an annual training between the Ministry and AGO, aiming to address important issues and any gaps between police performance and the law.
Speaking to radio and television Tonga News, the Deputy Police Commissioner, David Vailea, says there are gaps between police practice and the law and they need to address the issue. Key issues addressed in this year's training includes police powers and procedures, conduct of a trial, Electronic Communication Abuse Offences Act, sexual offences investigations, property offences investigations, previous convictions, photos, sketch maps, drug reports and fingerprints, traffic offences, as well as issues from police investigations over the past years. Officers from various operational units within Tongatapu participated in the training, including a scene of crime officers, traffic officers, police prosecutors, criminal investigators, and complaints assistance officers. Meanwhile, the ministry received two new Toyota Hilux vehicles donated from the Australian government on Wednesday. This is to support the police work in quickly responding to and tackling domestic violence cases in Tonga. Vailea acknowledged the Australian government for their continued support. One vehicle will be used in Tongatapu and the other in Ewa.
And that concludes tonight's English news package. But before we part, here's one final look at tonight's top stories. Less rainfall for Tonga during the cool dry season. Ministry of Police are urging the public to maintain peace and order during today's float parade for the Tonga team, and the Tongan contingent to join the US-led RIMPAC 2022 has already in Hawaii. And that's it for tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Alice the Ball. Have a blessed evening.